Rowan Sebastian Atkinson CBE is an English actor, comedian and writer. He is best known for his work on the sitcoms Blackadder and Mr. Bean. Atkinson first came to prominence in the BBC's sketch comedy show Not the 9 O'Clock News, receiving the 1981 BAFTA for Best Entertainment Performance, and via his participation in The Secret Policeman's Ball from 1979. His other work includes the 1983 James Bond film Never Say Never Again, playing a bumbling vicar in 4 Weddings and a Funeral, voicing the red-billed hornbill Zazu in The Lion King, and playing jewellery salesman Rufus in Love Actually. He also featured in the BBC sitcom The Thin Blue Line. His work in theatre includes the 2009 West End revival of the musical Oliver. Atkinson was listed in The Observer as one of the 50 funniest actors in British comedy, and among the top 50 comedians ever, in a 2005 poll of fellow comedians. Throughout his career he has collaborated with screenwriter Richard Curtis and composer Howard Goodall, both of whom he met at the Oxford University Dramatic Society during the 1970s. In addition to his 1981 BAFTA, he received an Olivier Award for his 1981 West End theatre performance in Rowan Atkinson in Review. He has also had cinematic success with his performances in the Mr. Bean movie adaptations Bean and Mr. Bean's Holiday, and also in the Johnny English film series. He also appears as the titular character in May Gray. Atkinson was born in Consett, County Durham, England, on 6 January 1955. The youngest of 4 brothers, his parents were Eric Atkinson, a farmer and company director, and Ella May, who married on 29 June 1945. His 3 older brothers are Paul, who died as an infant, Rodney, a Eurosceptic economist who narrowly lost the UK Independence Party leadership election in 2000, and Rupert. Atkinson was brought up Anglican, and was educated at Durham Choristers School, a preparatory school, St. Bees School. After receiving top grades in Science A levels, he secured a place at Newcastle University, where he received a degree in electrical and electronic engineering. In 1975, he continued for the degree of MSc in electrical engineering at the Queen's College, Oxford, the same college where his father matriculated in 1935, and which made Atkinson an honorary fellow in 2006. His MSc thesis, published in 1978, considered the application of self-tuning control. Atkinson briefly embarked in doctoral work before devoting his full attention to acting. First winning national attention in the Oxford Review at the Edinburgh Festival Fringe in August 1976, he had already written and performed sketches for shows in Oxford by the Etceteras, the review group of the Experimental Theatre Club, and for the Oxford University Dramatic Society, meeting writer Richard Curtis, and composer Howard Goodall, with whom he would continue to collaborate during his career. Atkinson starred in a series of comedy shows for BBC Radio 3 in 1979 called The Atkinson People. It consisted of a series of satirical interviews with fictional great men, who were played by Atkinson himself. The series was written by Atkinson and Richard Curtis, and produced by Griff Rhys-Jones. After university, Atkinson did a one-off pilot for London Weekend Television in 1979 called Canned Laughter. Atkinson then went on to do Not the 9 O'Clock News for the BBC, produced by his friend John Lloyd. He featured in the show with Pamela Stephenson, Griff Rhys-Jones and Mel Smith, and was one of the main sketch writers. One skit on Not the 9 O'Clock News saw him lampoon the pompous behavior of Mervyn Stockwood, who had engaged in a TV debate between 2 members of Monty Python on their recently released film, Monty Python's Life of Brian. The success of Not the 9 O'Clock News led to him taking the lead role of Edmund Blackadder in the medieval series Blackadder. The first sitcom, The Blackadder, Atkinson co-wrote with Richard Curtis. After a 3-year gap, in part due to budgetary concerns, a second series was broadcast, written by Curtis and Ben Elton. Blackadder II followed the fortunes of one of the descendants of Atkinson's original character, this time in the Elizabethan era. The same pattern was repeated in the 2 more sequels, Blackadder III, and Blackadder Goes Forth. The Blackadder series became one of the most successful of all BBC situation comedies, spawning television specials including Blackadder's Christmas Carol, Blackadder, The Cavalier.